If you meet me at the corner of Russell and Albina, just about a block from Mississippi Avenue, I'll take you to a house where they hang carpets on the wall. And if we go there on a Sunday, there's a song I'll take you through.
Welcome to Open Mic America. I'm Evan Acey, your MC. Mike Simpson is our interviewer today. Wave at everybody, Mike. And Open Mic America founder, Capo Dave Williams, is working behind the scenes as a show engineer. Our mission is to support your local open mics. Without gimmicks or frills, this is the beating heart of American music, the tapestry of story and song that has been weaving us together for generations. And now let's introduce all of our performers. And you're going to find links to their work on our website, openmicamerica.com, and you'll find them under the performers section. So if you want to look them up right now, everybody wave at Dave Fiebert. And Dave likes to play at Galluccio's in Wilmington. He also spends some time at the Living Room in Ardmore, Pennsylvania, and sometimes a songwriter circle in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. All right. And we have also on the stage tonight, James Eagle. James is from Santa Clara, California, and he likes the Mama Kin and Nirvana Soul in San Jose open mics. Changed to some glasses I can read with. Hey, there you are. All right. And we also have Hallie Hammer in Berkeley. Welcome back to the stage. And Randy Berg playing with her tonight. And they like to play at the Freight and Salvage open mic. And so we're excited about that. Andy Karn, you came from Mountain View, California tonight to be on the stage. You do the First Unitarian Church in San Jose. And then Hallie, you said that there was a Unitarian that you also like to favor out there. That's great. So also tonight we have Stephen Schmidt from Rochester, Minnesota. Stephen likes the Life's Too Short Brewing Company open mic out there. We're glad you're joining us tonight. We also have on the stage Steve Andersen. Steve is a longtime Open Mic America performer. You can find him live at the Gilman Brewing Company and at a place called Yetwa, which is a Chinese food restaurant open mic. You can look at his information about that on the website, like I say. And then Rebecca Parks is going to close out tonight. And Gary, too. Not just Rebecca, but Gary and Rebecca are going to be. They're from Hayward, California, and they love to perform at the Bistro in Hayward, California for their open mic. So I think it's time that we just jump right into this. And so our first guest tonight is going to be Dave Fiebert from Wilford, Pennsylvania. Dave, welcome to the Open Mic America stage. What do you have in your heart to play through song tonight?
I got a couple pretty good little tunes I put together here. Good to see it too, Evan. Thank you for the introduction. The first one's called Right Before the Angels Came. Right before the angels came today, time stood still as clowns began to play. A carousel spun round, children up and down, before angels came to town. Floating in the air above the clouds, acrobats on wires sang out loud. parasols in hand, they danced above the land, free as only angels can. Under canopies on high, billowed sails filled the sky. A bearded man began to fly. All the ladies wondered why. A thoughtless few were cast into a ring. A parrot spoke, he had no voice to sing. Said children from his beak, what wisdom he did speak. Words children's angels seek. La 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 la. Night fell, bringing sleep upon the crowd. Chimes rang out, but no one thought them loud. The carousel spun down. Children heard no sound. They knew angels left the town. Let me dial in one more here for you. This one I put together a little while ago. Yeah, there it is. This is a little romance song called Fresh Cut Flowers. I had a date, I was late, lost track of time, she didn't wait. What can I do to take her to tea? I tried to call, explain it all. My tongue got tied, I dropped the ball. I rang her once, what a dunce, that's me. So now it's fresh cut flowers in a red balloon, hat in hand underneath the moon, under her willow tree. That's me. That's me. Truth be told, I caught a cold. The weather turned the story old. Around midnight I saw no light from her room. Chin on the ground, I turned around. Hat on head, I laid the flowers down. It had all gone wrong. I said so long to the moon. No more fresh cut flowers in a red balloon. Hat in hand underneath the moon. Under her willow tree. I know it's lame, but back I came to her street. It's just not the same. No flowers found, but on the ground a note. Could it be from her to me? I opened it so gingerly. To my flower guy, don't be so shy, she wrote. And bring some fresh cut flowers in a red balloon. Hat in hand underneath the moon. Under my willow tree. Just you and me. Just you and me. For tea. Lucky me.
There you go.
Great job, David.
Nice.
Wonderful.
All right. Dave Fiebert,
Yes.
things to ask.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, good to see you again. Hey,
Thank you.
right before the Angels came,
Yeah.
that's a bit of a poster child for me of a kind of song that I'm particularly enamored with, and that is the multi-sense, painterly story song. And this has that quality. It's interesting that it's a story song, although the story is not necessarily entirely clear as to mundane detail. But the process of what's going on is very clear. It's beautifully written in that, and I love the fact that you make the constant tug between what's seen and what's heard, so that, like I say, it's got that multi-sensing. How do you come to do that? What's
That was an interesting song. I have a writing partner. The guy's name is Walt Hake. He lives up out of Princeton. I'm here in Wallingford, Pennsylvania, so we correspond by computer and things. But it started out as a prompt. He said, "Let me write the first line. You write the second line. I'll write the third line." So he sent me the first line, which was right before the angels came today. So I said, "Wow, that's a nice opening." So I took the second line. And then the third line showed up, and the fourth line showed up, and everything just sort of spilled. This one just sort of spilled out. And I sent it to him. I said, "I know we're supposed to do this as a process, but all this stuff just showed up. What do you think?" And he thought it was wonderful. He really liked the way it went. And I just thought the story was kind of really interesting about parasols and things in the air and things on the ground, and how children listen and how adults kind of listen. It just
That's
it
what
wasn't planned.
that was what I was referencing with the whole painterly thing. Hey, I notice even here on Zoom with its limitations, you're a very present performer, and I suspect that this is comes from a long lifetime history of waiting for Godot. Is that correct?
Yeah, you read some of my bios, did you?
I searched around a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been an actor for a long time, making a few dollars here and there, but yeah, I spent a lot of time on stage, and so I was so lucky to land a role in Waiting for Godot.
Yeah. How does actor feed songwriter and songwriter feed actor for you?
It's storytelling. It's because there's music in theater. I mean, there's music, there's sculpture, and there's painting in theater. So all those things fall into play into music. And I was a musician as a young fellow, in my early teens and mid 20s, and ended up writing some songs for some of the plays that we did. Some musical things that we might have needed just to help move a play along or something. So they've been going kind of hand in hand, and the theater that I was working with has since closed down. We're kind of in hiatus at the moment, so I just turned to songwriting as my outlet, and it's fun to fall into that world again.
Yeah, very cool. So Fresh Cut Flowers,
Yeah.
is that realia? Is that from an actual event, or is that
Oh
just
no, no, no,
all
no.
just songwriting, right? Yeah.
No, it was a songwriter thing. I just came up with Fresh Cut Flowers, and I came up with a little bit of a hook there, and
Yeah.
then I just wrote a storyline, and it just turned out to work out. It's a little long, I think, but the story seemed to work out.
Yeah. I mean, I professionally advise people on songwriting, and I would say I wouldn't lose any of that. I think it's nice.
Okay, well,
I
I'll take your
really I
advice on
really
it.
loved the intro and internal guitar work that you did with that.
Thank you.
There's a quality that I'm not quite sure that we always use the word for it right, but it's a quality of the music and the lyric being hand in hand and each moving the other along. And I think that song has a lot to do, has a lot of that in it. That has a lot to do with why it's charming. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked on that charm. I mean, it took a little bit to
Yeah.
fill that
It has
out, but
it has a
I
craft.
like the way the two pieces fit together. I thought, oh, they really spoke
Right.
to each
Yeah.
other. So
It has a crafted quality, as does the storyline with the sort of unexpected turn.
yeah,
Very gentle song.
well,
Well,
thank you.
it's always nice to hear you, and I am glad you are here, and I hope we will have you back here again as soon as possible. Dear Fiebert, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mike. Thank you.
Well, that was really great. Thank you for that. So now, up on the Open Mic America stage for his very first time, we're going to welcome James Eagle, and so young guy who likes to hang out at the Nirvana Open Mic. I'm excited to find out what you've got coming up inside that you want to share with us, and you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, and we'll give this stage to
Sure.
you, James Eagle.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much. Excited to be here. This first song is an original called I Won't Say No. Like an evening cloud, you come and go. Underneath the moon aglow, should it light the way and lead you to my door? I won't say no. Should it lead you to my door? I won't say no. Take me farther than I've ever known, over in an alley low. Should you take my hand and lead me down that road? I won't say no. Should you lead me down that road? I won't say no. I don't know how I ever could deny you. I don't know what I've waited for, or push you away like I did before. If you came to me and let you go. Over in an undertow, if you drifted back and lay upon my shore, I won't say no. If you lay upon my shore, I won't say no. I don't know how I ever could deny you. I don't know what I waited for, or push you away like I did before. If you came to me once more, I won't say no. If you came to me once more, I won't say no.
Nice song.
Yeah.
Loved it. This next one's called Your Garden. Hey love, fall into my day, love. If you show the way, love, then I can't go wrong. Darling, lead me to your garden, right back where we started, right where I belong, right where I belong. 'Cause I don't remember, so I waited on you. Lady, I'm a little lazy. Nothing's gonna change me. Nothing's going right. Simple, open like a window. Will you let me in, though? Or is this good night? 'Cause I don't see a light. I don't remember, so I waited on you. You led me through. I don't see a light, and I don't remember, so I waited on you, and you led me through. Darling, lead me to your garden. Darling, lead me to your garden, right back where we started, right where I belong, right where I belong.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, James Eagle. I'm glad to have you here. I was delighted to hear. I met James at a live open mic in my hometown, and
I was very impressed with what he did there. I
Oh,
am
thanks.
very pleased to hear you here where I can hear you better. The
Yeah.
sound was not great that night at that place, but you came through nonetheless, and it's the same here. I won't say no.
Uh-huh.
I am a fan of love songs that aren't necessarily straight ahead, you know, you're cute, I like you, let's do strange things together, those. And I like the slightly oblique approach that you had to this in the beginning. How did this one shape up? How did it come about?
Uh, Actually, the title kind of came from a not so PG song idea that I had before that. And then so I had the title of I Won't Say No, and then I was watching a Dolly Parton documentary on Netflix at that time, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool to kind of see if I can use this title and try to write a song that would be like Dolly Parton. And I don't even know if it really turned out like that, but it kind of gave me a direction, and then yeah, I just kind of built it based on the title.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. How did it come? It sounds like it came lyrically first.
Uh, Usually I come actually the music was pretty much there first. Most of my
Oh,
songs are
okay.
music first and then I kind of put lyrics on top, but uh these ones kind of the I won't say no part kind of was first, and then I kind of just made up these scenarios where I wouldn't say no to someone.
Right, exactly. And so
Yeah.
there's some very refined images inside that, like the if you lay upon my shore, particularly struck me, moved me.
Oh
Very
yeah.
nice connection between eye and heart and word, there.
Oh,
And your
thanks.
garden. Now here's another one where you're stepping a little a bit out of it. After uh, you had mentioned something about the song before, so when I was looking stuff up, I looked at the San Jose Rose Garden, and I was like, what am I going to say about garden? And uh, the thing about your song is it's all about movement, but the subject of a garden is fairly static.
Oh, oh yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. How did were you thinking of that at all, or?
No, I just I just kind of was strumming in G, and then that kind of melody came to me, and then I had another section that comes after that that I'd been sitting on for a while that I kind of wanted to use, and then I just kind of threw it in there, and then it sounded good, and then I just was kind of, I mean, the lyrics come by me just kind of saying random stuff and that doesn't make any sense, and then I kind of try to build something that makes some sense out of it, but that's kind of it.
Yeah. Well, you're in good company, scrambled eggs, right? You know about that for yesterday. That was the
Yeah.
original, yeah, lyric. It's an interesting process. You're using your own process to build your process on that. And the other thing that's really nice about that one, and a bit Beatles-esque, is the chord choices. Very fine chord choices. It moves the song along really, really well, I thought.
Oh, thanks a
Um,
lot.
yeah, yeah. So how much formal musical training do you have?
Uh, Not really much at all. I've taken a couple singing lessons years ago, and then I did do a year of music theory and stuff at West Valley, but I don't remember anything that I learned there, honestly. It's not that
uh,
it was a bad. I liked it. I liked going there and stuff, but I don't remember a lot of the theory, to be honest.
yeah.
I kind of just I know chords pretty well, and I listen to the Beatles and stuff like that, and try to see what cool chords I can use, but I don't really know what I'm doing from a theory
Hmm.
standpoint.
Well, I think you remember at bottom, you remember more than you realize, because there's like I say, it's very craftsman like work on those chord choices.
Oh, thanks a lot.
A real pleasure to hear you again. I'm sure I will hear you on some upcoming Wednesday nights, or Thursday nights, whenever it
Yeah,
is, do that thing. Anyway, um, and thank you very much for responding to the invitation and coming. It's very
yeah,
gratifying to have you here, and I'm sure we'll have you back, man.
Yeah,
right.
sounds good. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right. Back to you there, Mr. AC.
Thank you, Mike. Great interview. All right, so next on the stage we have published author Hallie Hammer along with Randy Berg. Looking forward to hearing what you're doing because you don't just write really fun books like Keep the Motor Running, a hippie escapade. You also write great songs. Welcome to the Open Mic America stage. What do you got for us tonight?
Thanks a lot. This is Randy Burge.
Birds with a hard G.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is a song I wrote 15 years ago, only it's unfortunately appropriate now. It's a song I wrote for my parents because I could talk to them about anything except this one issue. It's called Talk. 1, 2, 3. I can talk to you about the changes in the weather. I can talk to you about the changes in our lives. I can talk to you about our government's injustice. I can talk to you about the struggle to survive. Why can't I talk to you about what's happening in Israel? I can't talk to you about the bombings on the news. I can't talk about bulldozers knocking down the houses. I can't talk to you about the Arabs and the Jews. Your parents didn't talk of pogrom or Holocaust, but you talked to me of what they had been through, and I still hear the fear implicit in their voices when they mention Goyim or the sacrifice of Jews. My Bubby didn't talk about what happened to her sister, but you told me why she couldn't watch TV when they showed concentration camps and footage of the bodies, how it was that sister she feared that she would see. Why can't I talk to you about what's happening in Israel? I can't talk to you about the bombings on the news. I can't talk about bulldozers knocking down the houses. I can't talk to you about the Arabs and the Jews. I tried to talk to you about Palestine and Israel. You shut down on me. Said that even to this day the Arabs hate the Jews, and the Jews have hated Arabs many thousand years, and it would always be that way. I want to talk and say there must be chinks within the armor. There must be a way for sowing love instead of hate out of the realm of power into a place of reason where both sides could slow down and just communicate. I want them all to talk of how to ease the lives of children, stop the posturing, and hold each other's hands to work at hope and reason, not a terror of each other. Dedicate their lives to have a truly promised land. I can talk to you about the changes in the weather. I can talk to you about the changes in our lives. I can talk to you about our government's injustice. I can talk to you about the struggle to survive. We have got to start to listen to each other, find a compromise at which neither side will balk, to sit at the same table and work at this together and get to a point where we can really talk. Yes, get to a point where we can really talk. Next song song, my good friend Alex Bagwell, who's in this picture here, he was part of Freedom Song Network that I was in with him and his wife Harriet and a bunch of people for decades. And he just passed away in May. And I wrote this song and I ended up playing it at his memorial. I played the song and I'm working on a video of it. So this is called You Took My Breath Away, because when he sang, he really did take my breath away. You were the greatest hugger that I ever knew. Your dark eyes glowed 1,000,000 watts. Your smile lit up the room. You taught by example. Your presence made my day. And when you sang, oh, when you sang, when you sang, you took my breath away. A union worker, longshoreman, who always had his say. When that huge boat with apartheid goods came to San Francisco Bay, you went out in a little boat and made them turn away. You walked the walk, you talked the talk, and when you sang, oh, when you sang, when you sang, you took my breath away. You fought for justice all your life. You were a learned man, a wizard on piano. Your ropes and shows so grand. Freedom Song Network, where on a special day I heard you sing. Oh, how you sang. When you sang, you took my breath away. You're gone but not forgotten. I always will recall your duets with Harriet, your love for one and all. The way your soul infused the words you sang your special way, and how you sang. Oh, when you sang, Alex, when you sang, you took my breath away.
Oh,
Alex Bagwell.
Day.
All right. So let me start with you here, Hallie. I've known you for a long time, but not closely. And I've been an admirer of your music and your life work for a long time. And so I want to frame the overall interview, mention enough to make sure that you know that I heard the songs, but then I kind of want you just to work within this main topic that I'm going to ask you about. And then I have just a sort of a closing question and that closing question is for the magic sentence that will cure all, and so what I want to talk to you about is responsibility. You clearly are talking about the responsibility people have to talk with one another, to take that as the choice rather than violence and destruction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alex Bagwell would, by the way, I knew him. I think he would be quite delighted with your song. And yes, man, what a piano player and singer. Wonderful guy. And so What's your responsibility there? You're taking his name and using it in a song, and his life and using it in a song. So again, can you talk about the responsibilities that you have as a songwriter and how you live up to them?
Okay, well, I ran the song by Harriet. Harriet was his wife for 61 years. I didn't just do the song. Um, I wrote it out, and we were unfortunately at another memorial, and I gave her the words, and there was one line that I changed because I wanted to make sure it was exactly right, and she gave me a fact that I didn't have before. And so I wrote her this, I showed her the song, and then I sent her a copy of the song. And then after that, she asked me to play it at the memorial. So I didn't even ask her to play it. I let it go, and someone said, "Oh, you're going to play it at the memorial." I said, "Oh, well, if there's time or if Harriet wants me to." And she said, "Oh, yeah, Harriet wants you to play it." So, and I knew Alex and Harriet for decades. We sang in Freedom Song Network for probably 30 years, and we were very close. And so I think my responsibility there was to let people know. In fact, when I sang the verse about "You were the greatest hugger" at the memorial, everyone there laughed because everyone
knew.
there
Of course
knew
they would.
exactly what Alex, his eyes would light up when he'd see you, and he'd give you this bear hug, kiss you smack on the lips, and and he was just always so glad to see people, and I wanted that to come through through the song. So my responsibility there was to portray Alex as he was: a wonderful person, a wonderful musician, a devoted husband. And he wrote this whole play. He had a voice kind of like Paul Robeson, this one of these big booming voices.
Filled the room.
Filled the room.
Yeah.
And he did a whole show on Robeson. And right now I'm working on a video. I got a bunch of pictures from Harriet. I got clips from different places where he was singing, and I'm going to put them in the video. But my responsibility there is to portray Alex as he actually was, and to make sure that people know what a wonderful person he was.
Very good. Excellent answer. Thank you very much. And talk.
Okay, well, I wrote that song because my parents and I could talk to my parents about, I mean, I could play them songs about sex, drugs, rock and roll, anything, but I could not talk to them about what was going on. And as I said in the song, they'd shut down if I tried to talk about Palestine and Israel. And this was the only song that I ever wrote that I did not play for them while they were alive.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I had it recorded, and they didn't have a CD player. So I was playing it in the car with my brother in the car. And I said, when I get to cut 7, skip it. Because I didn't want, my responsibility there was to write the song and to let people understand what I really felt about what's going on, and is unfortunately still going on. Yet I didn't want to hurt my parents, and I didn't want to. My responsibility there was to write the song, but not necessarily to have them involved in the song.
Yeah. So a responsibility to not play a song. That's
Yeah.
Let's just say that's an almost shocking level of maturity for a songwriter in my experience. I certainly have probably played songs for people I shouldn't have. So to give me a what do you call it, keystone for this arch. Not playing, lauding someone, talking about difficult things. What in the end is, our contribution to the common good as songwriters? What can we do?
Well, we can write what we feel, and we can write. Sometimes I feel like a reporter. Sometimes I watch what's going on, and then I write about it. But you also have your emotional attachment to what you're writing about. So there's that point where you want to convey both the emotion and intellectually what is going on in a situation. And I think there's a meshing of the two. That's the responsibility of the songwriter, to convey that to the people that want to hear the song. A lot of times people will say to me, is it okay if I share the song? I say, well, that's why I wrote it.
Right.
It's always okay to share the song.
Yeah. Yeah, and you hearken me back to an album cover from the Moody Blues, A Question of Balance,
Uh-huh.
and, you know, Hallie Hammer, it is always a delight and a joy, and same to you, Randy. It's always good to see you here. Were you a longshoreman as well? No.
No.
I hit on your name. I hit some guy who was a longshoreman. I thought
No, he was in the book business.
Oh, okay. Well, also a fine work. Thank you very much. Of course, I'm quite sure you'll be back.
And thank you so much.
Yes,
Thanks,
good to see
thanks
you.
to everyone at Open Mic America. It's a wonderful production.
Yes. Well, thank you for thanking us. Okay, Evan, back to you.
All right. Once again for Hallie Hammer and Randy Burrs. Right on. Thank you. And next on the Open Mic America stage, the hits just keep coming. All right, let's turn the stage over to Andy Karn. Welcome to Open Mic America. What do you have in your heart that you'd like to express to America through song this afternoon, Andy?
Well, I have a couple of songs. The first one I want to do is called Scam Likely. So it goes like this. There is a fellow who's become my closest friend. I've never met him, but he calls me without end. He's not on my contact list, but he pops up just the same. And I'll bet you all know his name. Just when you think that you're alone, you got Scam Likely on the phone. No longer in your comfort zone. Must be Scam Likely on the phone. When Scam Likely calls me, I don't do a thing. A likely story, I think, and I just let it ring. I feel so conflicted when I don't take his call, 'cause without Scam Likely I'd get no calls at all. Like being shadowed by a drone. You got Scam Likely on the phone. Creepy as a running with your clone, your own clone. Must be Scam Likely on the phone. Hello, Mr. Likely, leave a message, please. But when I listen to it, it's always in Chinese. Scam Likely never uses any number twice. It's a recording, so the trail is cold as ice. You can block him all day long, but the song's call's still coming through. He can always reach out and touch you. If you catch a whiff of brimstone, you got Scam Likely on the phone. Icy fingers dancing down your backbone. Must be Scam Likely on the phone. Must be Scam Likely on the phone.
Magnificent.
Thank you. Okay, so the next song I'm going to do is pretty different. It's called She's Not Gone. Is she gone out of this world without a marker, with no gravestone to leave a rose upon? Does she travel with the wind across the prairie? She's here forever in my heart. She's not gone. She's not gone. She's in the lilacs in the springtime. She's not gone. She's by the river in the dawn. She's not gone. She's with my daddy in the kitchen. She's here forever in my heart. She's not gone. Is she gone from the last house that she lived in? From that empty chair that sits out on the lawn? In a world that only cares about the money, she's here forever in my heart. She's not gone. She's not gone. She's in the lilacs in the springtime. She's not gone. She's by the river in the dawn. She's not gone. She's with my daddy in the kitchen. She's here forever in my heart. She's not gone. Is she gone from people in her family? Is there not a way that she keeps living on? She's in the twinkle in the eyes of her grandkids. She is here forever in my heart. She's not gone. She's not gone. She's in the lilacs in the springtime. She's not gone. She's by the river in the dawn. She's not gone. She's with my daddy in the kitchen. She's here forever in my heart. She's not gone.
Okay. Full disclosure. Andy's a good friend of mine, and I actually play behind his songs sometimes when we can play together, unlike on Zoom. So I know this. I know his stuff pretty well. But what I want to do, Andy, to you is exactly what I did to Hallie Hammer. Overall, I have a couple of comments on the songs themselves, both of which I like very much. But then I want you to talk about the responsibility of the songwriter. So, Scam Likely, it's an example of something I've noted in a lot of your work. You live your life with your eyes open, and you remember what you see, and then you put it into songs. How do you screen a given thing that you see that causes a reaction to you, and decide whether or not it gets a song written about it?
Well, I just like the idea that when I get a call that's been flagged as a scam, it comes up on my phone with this name, Scam Likely, which sounds like somebody's name. And I thought, and it comes up exactly the way someone's name would come up. So if it was John Smith calling me, it would say John Smith, but instead it says Scam Likely. And it's like, how creepy is that? There's some guy who's named Scam Likely who's calling up to rip me off. You know, that's just a horror story. So I I had to write that in kind of a creepy minor key, you know.
Yeah, that's that's good. I do like the song. And She's Not Gone. Here we're talking about something where you are blending um, what most people will recognize as a fairly traditional musical form with the images and sentiments. And again, full disclosure, this is, I believe, about Andy's own mother. He's talking here. I am correct, yes?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so the images and then the feelings and then getting those together in the lyrics so you can communicate both. You got any hot tips for us on how you do that?
Well, in this case, I was. It happened was I'm not a fast mourner. I mean, I'm not. I don't burst into tears when people die. I kind of, you know, suffer for a few years or the rest of my life instead. And so I was having a particularly sad morning, or whenever it was, probably a morning. And I was thinking, because my mother was cremated, there's no grave, and I can't put a flower on her grave because there isn't one. And that was really bumming me out. And I thought, well, okay, so, what do I really think about this? And I thought about what the real story is, and and this story is, what I say in the song. She's not really gone, and not to me anyway, not to the people who knew her. So, as far as the other lyrics are, so that's the hook, or at least that's the gimmick that I used to get the song up and going. Is She's Not Gone. So I ask, is she gone? And then I answer, she's not gone. And the the melody, I came a little later. I had to make the melody different enough from every single country waltz in the world. So
There's a job.
I know. So I think it is, but if somebody knows what song this is that was written by Harlan Howard or something, keep it to yourself. So, but as far as the lyrics are concerned, they're really trying to be something that people who knew her would recognize. So in other words, it's true on the small scale. It's true to what I really knew about her, and but not so personal that it would only be recognizable by me, but things that are all very kind of accurate, like people who know her know which river that is, and they know where those lilacs are, you know what I mean? So they know all that, and they probably even can guess which kitchen I'm talking about. So they know all that stuff, right? And so I'm kind of guessing that by being accurate on the personal scale, it will resonate on a larger scale with people who don't know all those facts.
Yes, and I think the action that you're performing there, you're taking your memories, your remembrances, and remembering to put the deceased into all of our ongoing story. Uh, by doing that, I think it's very successful. What's
I
your
mean,
response? Go ahead.
if you can relate to those situations and scenes that I'm drawing for you, then yeah, then you're like, oh, well, that's like when I do that or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, indeed. What's your responsibility as a songwriter? What do you owe to the world in general as a songwriter?
It's steep, and I'm sure I fail most of the time, but it's well, I mean, Woody Guthrie said it, okay? I mean, I'll just drop that name. And he said, you don't write a song that's just knocking people down and making them feel bad, but you need to write a song that lifts people up, you know? So I do think of that, and I've been known to add a verse to my songs because I'm like, well, I don't want to leave it there. That's that's terrible. I can't leave it there. I have to give them something, to walk away with from this song. That's not, everything's terrible and we should all just die.
Right.
So yeah. So that's that's the very steep goal, you know. And then the question is, do you just hit them over the head with your political beliefs, or what, or do you help them by do you make people feel good by relating your emotions, you know? And the answer is sometimes one and sometimes the other, and maybe you should probably do a little of both, you know. Yeah. So what's your responsibility? You do have that responsibility. I mean, there's no point in the exercise if you're not communicating. And so then the question is, what do you want to communicate to a wide or narrow audience, you know? And you don't want to communicate a bunch of evil stuff or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
I think I got in trouble once on the radio. I think you were there, yeah? With a local DJ. I think I got in trouble. Maybe I didn't. I don't know.
Oh, you did.
Well, she asked me, I mean, she was just doing her job as an interviewer, okay? And so I should have been nice. But she asked me this question, or she said, I mean, because I had written it's a crude song. It's not a good song, but I wrote a song about when they were putting kids in cages. And it was a very angry song about putting kids in cages, which I think is bad. I'm going out on a limb here. And so she said, well, don't you think you're getting kind of controversial here? And I said, well, if there's people who like the idea of putting children in cages, then they should just write their own song.
Yes, you're a bad man, Andy Karn.
I am.
Okay, but we love you here, and you've been here quite a few times. I think this is like maybe your 15th or something time back here, and we hope
Wow.
that 16 will not be too far away.
Okay.
All right, man. Thank you very much. Evan,
nice
all
talking to you.
yours.
Right.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Andy Karn. All right, and once again, the hits do just keep coming. Next on the stage, we have Stephen J. Schmidt from Rochester, Minneapolis. Is the temperature already down to 0 there yet? Not quite yet, right?
It hasn't gotten that cold, but we have had snow already.
Yep.
So, yes, that's Minnesota. It's great to be here, everybody. Thank you very much. The first song I'd like to perform tonight is a love song that I wrote for my wife, Elizabeth. There's a full band version of this on my album, The Road, but I kind of like singing this solo version. It's kind of a love song lullaby. It's called Ma Petite Amie, which in French is my little one, my little friend. It's a term of endearment. One night in a vision, you came my way. Life now is a dream world since you chose to stay. You brought me happiness, you showed me the way, you brought me the sunshine, the light of a new day. You are the moon above that glitters on the snow. You are the only love my heart will ever know. Je t'adore. Ma petite amie. Touch me softly as you breathe in my moondrops surround me every time you're near. I sing you this lullaby, I cherish you in song. For in you I've found, chérie, the love for which I long. You are the moon above that glitters on the snow. You are the only love my heart will ever know. Je t'adore, ma petite amie. Your eyes, bright and my once lonely days, holding you here close beside me makes me feel this tender way. A love, a life, a hope, a dream with you I long to share. Can't you sense the love I feel and how much I care? You are the moon above that glitters on the snow. You are the only love my heart will ever know. Je t'adore, ma petite amie. Am I dreaming, or are you really near? Is that you singing? Is that your voice I hear? Come to me, take my hand, stroll through the snowland of my dreams, and stay with me. Set me free and be ma petite amie, and be ma petite
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Well, usually when I play Open Mic America, I change instruments, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm just going to change tuning here real quick. My wife's family has been working the land in southwest Olmsted County for 6 generations. And when they get together at family reunions, they have all these stories about the land. And I was so inspired by those stories that this song occurred to me. And it's in the voice of my wife's great grandfather, Fred, and his wife, Allie. And it's all about their farm, which they called the Windmill 80. The very best place I know is where the Root River flows, a clapboard house, Simpson Way. The farm where my kids were born, down a road that's been well worn. It's my home and where I plan to stay. The windmill 80's in my soul. Working this field is my joy and only goal. Strength lies in this prairie soil. Tending these rows is no toil. The windmill 80 is my home. The dirt here is a chestnut brown, rarely has a harvest let me down. My 8 sons help me plow the land. Over in the holler is a hidden still, where the oriole's song is never shrill. Come evening time, the boys form a string band. The windmill 80's in my soul. Working this field is my joy and only goal. Strength lies in this prairie soil. Tending these rows is no toil. The windmill 80 is my home. When bluebells turn a sapphire hue, plant these 80 acres on that queue. Then we gather round near Fugel's mill, drinking in our beer and stories there, living our lives without a care. The windmill pumps proud high upon the hill. The windmill 80's in my soul. Working this field is my joy and only goal. Strength lies in this prairie soil. Tending these rows is no toil. The windmill 80 is my home. The windmill 80 is my home.
All right, let me get my notes up here. Stephen Schmidt emphasized to me that he was real and not virtual early during our setup, and that's there's some realness to that music. One of your online presence points talks about fingerpicking, novel chord voicings, use of alternate tunings, and playing up the neck, all of which are true. I wanted to ask you, I usually restrain myself better than this, but is that a D42 CE?
This guitar?
Yeah.
No, this is Actually, this is a very special instrument. This is a Marcy Marxer signature guitar.
Oh, one of
It's an
Marcy's. Okay.
That's an MC3H, and this actually is serial number one. I have a special relationship with Kathy Fink and Marcy Marxer, so
All
it's a
right. Well,
very special instrument.
yeah, old friend of mine too. Um, I met her at music camps. Of course,
Right.
way most people end up meeting her. Um, before I get to these songs that you played, no, I'm going to skip that. Never mind. Ma Petit Ami, sweet, tender stuff, and the guitar work is the same, skillfully supported. How do you get that done? How do you find what to do? It was what, drop D tuning, I think.
Yeah, just a single drop D. Sometimes they use a double drop D, and that's just a single drop D. Um, for me, it's really important to be able to marry the guitar work and the lyrics and the vocals, and one supports the other. And so, doing a lullaby like that demands a gentle picking and the harmonics to just really give it that very special something that is part of the craft of my songwriting.
Okay, very definitely agree to that. Very nice. Um, Windmill Lady. It's I was talking with some of the prior people there about the notion of responsibility, and I find that in what you wrote there, in that you have something that just not as many Americans have anymore, which is um, farmer antecedents that you were able to know and to speak with and to be on their land and that kind of stuff. And I really enjoy the fact that songs like that help remind us of the respect we owe to those people, because they are disrespected, particularly in the body of casual humor. Farmers are not always paid the value that they should be. And I like the maybe you can talk about how you crafted the clear notion that you have of the attachment that people that are not peripatetic, that don't move around a lot, feel to their place when it's generational and all that.
Well, we have farm folk on both sides of the family, on my side of the family and my wife's side of the family. And being able to visit with family on the land that they've worked, that special connection, the pride that small independent farmers still feel. And so I'm moved to capture that at a time when so many small farms are disappearing and small farmers are being bought out and the land is being developed and turned into subdivisions, or they're being bought out by corporate farms. And we're losing something of the American spirit when that happens. And so I want to pay homage to not only our family, but to the work that they do, because it's a disappearing thing, and we really need to understand where food really comes from. It doesn't come from the grocery store. Ultimately, it comes from the land and the people who work the land. And I hope that with some of my songs that we never lose that.
Yeah. Well, very nice stuff indeed. You've played on Open Mic America several times, right?
Yes, I have.
Previously. Yeah, I know I've seen you. I knew I've seen you there. But anyway, it's good to have you here again. And I say this a lot, but it's always heartfelt. I really hope to hear you again soon.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, Stephen. Evan, yours.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Stephen. Great, great music. And so now we're going to have something completely different. Okay, maybe not all that completely different. This is a young man that we are all familiar with, a real staple on the Open Mic America stage, someone who's always got something clever to share. Steve Andersen, why don't you take the stage and share with us what you are excited about today?
Nice of you to refer to me as a young man. I'll be 82 in a couple of weeks. So Mike said something about love songs earlier, and it was nice to have something written that was, not a direct view of I don't know what to call it, courting. So I conjured up this thing, which I like to think of as an ode to Walter Mitty. I call it "I Miss You," and I'm just gonna lay the words down here on the keyboard because sometimes I forget them. Yeah, sometimes I forget the chords too. I don't know who you are, I don't even know your name. I don't know why you're in my mind or how it was you came. I'm always thinking of you, you're a dream that I can't replace. I'd recognize you anywhere, but I've never seen your face, and I miss you. I'm always searching for you, though I don't know where to look. I feel like I should call you, but you're not in the book. I know you're waiting for me, but I've no idea where. I hope you've not lost sight of just how very much I care, and I miss you. Loneliness and fantasies occupy my mind, dreaming of a happiness that I might never find. It's good to have an option when the real thing isn't there. Reality can't always provide a way to care. Time has been a burden to both of us, it seems. The love we share between us is a captive of our dreams. The search has been exhaustive, a journey oh so long. We need to find each other before we fade into a song. And I miss you. And now for something completely different. Well, I tried to be a rodeo cowboy, thought it might be a real good time. But the critters I rode didn't seem to agree. They left me laying in the dirt and the grime. Then a sweet young thing pulled me out of the corral, took me home in her pickup truck, tended to my injuries and fed me chicken soup. Well, I still can't believe my luck. Oh, there's never been another, except for all the others. The woman meant the world to me. She was beautiful and kind, they're very hard to find. Why I left her is a mystery. Well, my hot rod Ford was the quickest thing around. Out running, everybody was a blast. But the police got me with a radar gun. They locked me up for going way too fast. Then the girl in my dreams came a-running, said what they done was way beyond the pale. The next thing I know, she's walking me home. That lady done gone my bail. Whoa, there's never been another, except for all the others. Yeah, the woman meant the world to me. She was beautiful and kind, they're very hard to find. Why I left her is a mystery. Then I stumbled on a suitcase full of money. I paid all the debts I had, but it proved to be the property of really bad dudes, the kind you never want to make mad. Then the pretty graphic artist who could forge anything fixed me up with a new ID. Pretended I was her cousin here from New York City. Well, the criminals were looking for me. Oh, there's never been another, except for all the others. The woman meant the world to me. She were beautiful and kind, they're very hard to find. Why I left her is a mystery. Now the midnight train is coming, rolling up around the bend. I'm tied up onto the railroad tracks, facing my untimely end. Then the brakeman's daughter came upon the scene, carrying her Swiss Army knife. Cut me loose just in the nick of time, the lady done saved my life. Oh, there's never been another, except for all the others. The woman meant the world to me. She was beautiful and kind, they're so very hard to find. Why I left her is a mystery. My life is filled with mystery.
Classic Steve Anderson.
That's the
Classic.
stuff.
All right, Stephen.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing, bud?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? God,
It's a mystery.
Maybe for the best. So, I want to talk a little bit about your journey in life and as a songwriter. If I recall correctly from what you have shared previously, you're 82 years old, so you've lived a long life, and it seems a full one. But the music is somewhat more recent, right? How long have you been songwriting?
It's sneaking up on 5 years.
Yeah, now, if somebody told me that they didn't believe you due to the quality of their work, I would be sympathetic to their viewpoint, because
Well,
you're really
there was
good.
music. There was music, 50 years ago,
Right.
and it got set aside, and I found my way back to it.
Way back to it. Yeah, you sure did. The first song, I was busy sneezing and I did not hear the title of the first song.
Oh, the title is "I Miss You."
I Miss You. Okay. It's an interesting ploy as a songwriter to work with all those contradictions. You know, I recognize you, but I've never seen your face, and all that go throughout the thing. How did that choice come about?
Uh, well, as you mentioned earlier about, writing songs that were, adoration of another person and that sort of thing. And I just, at my age, that just doesn't come to me easily. Um, but I do have, well, songwriters all have a vivid imagination. I think I'm no different in that regard. Um, but I my my life is very intuitive in many ways. So I can't really define a path to how I got to that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it presented an opportunity to write a love song about, the person you never caught up with. And there's a part of me that thinks, yeah, that's who I was before I met my current wife. Uh, and she has changed all of that. We celebrated her 60th birthday yesterday, and I'm in recovery. It was a wild party.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us despite the no doubt trenchant exhaustion you're experiencing. Yes.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Rodeo Cowboy. I'm going to guess that every word of that is literally true. Am I right?
Ooh, not exactly.
Uh-huh.
Uh, my life has been quite varied. Um, but no, I never actually partook in a rodeo. Although it's not like I've never been horseback. That's been always, that was always fun. Um, most of my riding has been on a Harley, to be quite honest. And yeah, police catching me for going too fast, been there, done that. Never quite got to jail because I was, a pretty good talker. And I was always nice to policemen. I think, they got a job to do. Um, the Yeah, I've been in a little bit of trouble with people who weren't very nice, but it was nothing as bad as I wrote about. And women who have saved my life, yes, there are a number of them. They weren't saving me from the railroad tracks, but um, yeah, I had sleep apnea. I didn't know what it was. Didn't know that I was sick. And it was a couple of women that I slept with that opened my eyes to that and got me into a sleep study and saved my life. Basically, I'd be dead by now if they hadn't done that. So, yeah.
Well, that's good. I like your boldness in rewarding their kindness with your absolutely shameless lyrics in that song. I mean, what a rotten guy you are.
Yeah, that's true too.
All right, Steve. Well, I'm going to look forward to the next time I see you here. I know you've been here over a dozen times, I think, and we are, I think, really blessed to have you here. You provide an outlook and a style that we just really don't get from anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Good
Look
to hear.
forward
Thank
to seeing
you.
you again. And Evan, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Thank you, Mike. And once again, thank you, Steve. Another great performance on the Open Mic America stage from you. Looking forward to the next time that you join us. And speaking of joining us, this is the first time for Rebecca and Gary Parks on the Open Mic America stage. So let's all help them to feel right at home as they share what they have decided the world needs to hear this afternoon, today, tonight, wherever, whatever time you're watching this. Rebecca and Gary Parks.
Hello, my fellow singer-songwriters, and hello, everybody out there watching. I thought to introduce ourselves, we would play a couple of songs that I wrote for Gary. This first one was inspired when he, just out of the blue, I was practicing my guitar and he was working on some art projects. He's an artist. And he said, "Your music is the soundtrack of my evenings." One should be very careful what one says to a songwriter.
Your music and lyrics are the soundtrack of my evenings, surrounding me as I'm sitting at my drawing board. Inspiration, kind goddesses have colorful wings. We have harmony. Home, our secret stage of every age. When we engage, we each play our part in song and art. We know by heart.
We know by heart. Your paintings and etchings are the stage set of my evenings, surrounding me as I'm sitting with guitar in hand. Inspiration, redemption stories flow through the strings. We have harmony. Home, our secret stage of every age. When we engage, we each play our part in song and art. We know by heart. Critics come and critics go, and some may never like our show. But if the world won't see and hear it, we applaud each other's spirit. Home, our secret stage of every age. When we engage, we each play our part in song and art. We know by heart. We know by heart.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first song that I wrote for Gary. He went to Egypt for a few weeks, and we had just met a few months before, and I had just started a new job, so I couldn't get the time off to go with him. So I decided to surprise him with this when he got home.
I had no idea.
Hello, my love, how was your day? It sounds like you've got a lot to say. This modern work we both perform cannot make us feel relaxed and warm.
But we both know where we can go. We fly in our night shift through our private sky. We soar,
Floating wavelets, even as we lie.
we dream and awaken to sweet reality. We fly
In our night shift, you and me. Sometimes we touch, sometimes we sleep. Sometimes we talk and tremble, laugh or weep. We journey to a distant star, but never find the end of who we are.
the thoughts profound, the thundering sound. We fly in our night shift through our private sky. We soar,
Floating wavelets, even as we lie.
we dream and awaken to sweet reality. We fly
In our night shift, you and me. Do you suppose the time can bend? That somehow you receive before you send? You laugh at me, then raise your brow and say you'd like to bend the time right now.
reshape the past and make it last. We fly in our night shift through our private sky. We soar,
Floating wavelets, even as we lie.
we dream and awaken to sweet reality. We fly.
You and me.
you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Right. Gary, I just want to point out that you are allowed to sit down for the interview if you'd like. Okay. Rebecca Parks and Gary, Secret Stage, soundtrack of my evening. You know, a friend of mine named Christina Olson once said, you have to be very, very cautious when dating songwriters. Your sins will be displayed in public. Yeah, and you should be careful what you say to songwriters. Right? But it's very cool to be given a glimpse into some of the structure of the relationship when you've got two artists in a relationship. That gives a flavor, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Any info on the construction of the song and how that works within that notion of the two artist pairing?
Well, I actually started with a melody. I had this little bit of melody that I didn't know what to do with, and it ended up being the melody of the chorus of that song.
Mm-hmm.
The first verse was what I wrote first, which was about Gary, and about how my music kind of inspired him. And then I wrote the next verse about how his art inspires me. And I made the two structurally. I mean, the lines aren't even. There are no rhymes really, but the two verses kind of play off each other. I wanted them to be parallel in that way. But then the chorus, I thought, gee, that little melody that I've had kind of lying around, I think that I could make that work with this song. And indeed, actually the whole thing was written, but then that place where Secret Stage occurs, it's like I couldn't quite think, what should go in that spot. And then as soon as I thought of Secret Stage, that just sort of put the whole thing together.
Yeah, sort of bound it all up. It's interesting that that you have melody coming where it does in the thing, because I know something about your songwriting because we've been in songwriting classes together and stuff like that. The lyric is usually more at the front for you, is it not?
Yeah.
Most often, I think, yeah. So this one's a little different from that. Okay, how old is the second song, Night Ship? How old is that?
20 years old.
Yeah.
20 years old. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
and the central image of the Night Ship, what brought that image forth?
Well, we spent a lot of time in bed, and of course we do what you normally think of, but
Put your socks on. Yeah.
Snore. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And snort. Thank you. I'd almost forgotten about that one.
But we had so many really engaging conversations, and if one of us had a rough day, it was kind of where we decompressed and kind of talked it all out. And
then other times we discussed astrophysics. That last verse actually is a reference to that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Outstanding.
because we're both very sort of dreamy people, we can get off on very, very dreamy subjects. But I just kind of wanted to give a picture of the relationship.
Mm-hmm. And you did. Now I have to say this: I had wondered, Gary, if maybe there had been any way that had come in. There are so many of the images in the Egyptian tombs of the night ships, the
Yes, there
passage
is.
between
And-
this land and the land of the dead.
Yeah.
Gary is a bit of an Egyptologist, as it happens. He has a certain number of artifacts and stuff there in the house. I wonder if that happened. Is there any co-writing? Any
Well,
co-writing gone
I
on?
will say that when I got back from Egypt and she played that song sitting at the piano actually and doing it solo, I right away went to the whole idea of both the moon god Thoth and the sun god Ra riding in boats, and then the 12 hours of the night that the dead must go through to get through to resurrection and all that. And I just went, oh, geez, you just nailed this whole thing, you know. And now we're riding on one of those. Wow, you know.
That's why I was wondering, because I kind of know you guys, and the night ship took me there as well, being a bit of a classicist.
For sure.
Are you guys doing, and have you done any actual co-writing?
One song, and this is a song that was inspired by a second trip to Egypt that we took together.
Her first, yeah.
And maybe I'll play it next time. You know, hopefully I'll be on here next time and be able to play that one. But it's a song about a fictitious Egyptian king who felt a real responsibility to his people. And at one point I got stuck. What do I put in this place in the song? And since Gary knows more about Egyptian history than I do, I asked him, for some ideas of what should go there. And he kind of helped me finish the song. So it's officially
a
co-write.
co-write. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
But these two songs were basically all of mine, except that one line, "Your music is the soundtrack of my evening." But certainly Gary inspired them, and a lot of the imagery comes from both Gary as he is as a person and his art.
Yeah. Well, very nice. And speaking of coming on again, I certainly hope that you will. It's lovely to have you here. I hope you enjoyed your first passage on our little night ship here, Open Mic America. I'm going to say that that's our final set of performers, and Evan will take us on home now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, and what another great evening of live music on the Open Mic America stage. Hasn't it been just all that? Yes, indeed. Really, tuning into Open Mic America every week is some of the best fun that you'll have. And so we want to take the time right now to thank all of our performers: Dave Fiebert, James Eagle, Hallie Hammer, and Randy Burrs, Andy Karn, Stephen J. Schmidt, Carter, and Carter is not here tonight, Steve Andersen, Rebecca Parks, and Gary Parks. Thank you so much, everybody, for gracing the stage with your wonderful music. And so we also want to remember to tell everybody to check opensideamerica.com for links to the music of these performers. You'll find all the archives of all of the shows also there. And then speaking of the shows, we want to thank Capo Dave Williams, founder Capo Dave, and for his work behind the scenes, making us all look and sound great. He did a wonderful job tonight. And Mike Simpson for asking all those challenging questions that gave you all an opportunity to share a piece of who you are outside of the song. The marriage of song and who you are is really, really a blessing for all of us. We definitely want to remember the YouTube crowd. All of those of you who tune in, week out, year after year, we appreciate you so much. And if you do like this show, please spread the word and don't keep it a secret. You can even download and print your own posters like the one back here on my wall, and you see some also on the stage tonight. Hang them somewhere where other people can see them. You can also buy a t-shirt through Open Mic America. I don't think we're making any money on that, but you can have your own merch. Capo Dave is wearing one of them right now. And also, please check out your local virtual and in-person open mics. We've listed the ones that our performers play at under local open mics on our website. And, we're just always here for you the first 3 Sundays of every month. So our next show is going to be Sunday, November 19th, same time, same station. Stay tuned for the next full lineup of performers. We love you here at Open Mic America. Please tune into live music, and thank you for keeping life musical. Good night, America.
If you meet me at the corner of Russell and Albina, just about a block from Mississippi Avenue. I'll take you to a house where they hang carpets on the wall. And if we go there on a Sunday, there's a song I'll take you through.